The land is dry, the air is heavy. But beneath the ground lies power, black gold that fuels empires and destroys families. In Texas, oil isn't just business, it's blood. And when the rigs start turning again, so does the fight. Dark screen. A low rumble begins, like thunder rolling across a desert. Slowly, the image of a burning Texas sunset fades in wide skies painted in fire, stretching over endless oil fields. The silhouettes of rigs tower like metal giants against the dying light. The sound of metal grinding begins to echo, sharp and piercing, like the scream of iron under pressure. Narrator, deep, gravelly, tense. Texas, a land built on dreams and destroyed by greed. Quick cut, a close-up of a rig drilling deep into the earth, gears grinding, oil splattering in the air. A heavy clang rings out, then silence. The camera pulls back, revealing men standing in the shadows, their faces unseen, but their presence heavy. A storm is coming. Narrator, out here, power isn't given, it's taken. The screen cuts to black for half a second. Then, a sudden flash, headlights cutting through the dust of a back road. A black truck speeds down the highway, kicking up clouds. The engine roars. The camera tilts up to show the Texas sky again, vast, merciless, endless. A storm brews in the clouds. Lightning strikes, drums pound in the background score, slow and steady like a heartbeat. Each beat syncs with new flashes of imagery, a fist slamming down on a boardroom table. A drop of oil falling into a flame. A man's shadow cast across a dusty ranch house. An old photograph burning in fire. Narrator, this land carries secrets, old wounds that never healed. Promises that turn to lies. The music builds with strings cutting in, sharp and violent. The visuals grow more rapid now. Close-up of an oil barrel tipping over, spilling black liquid across the ground. A cowboy hat falling into the dirt, chains rattling as a rig powers on again. A figure, gripping a rifle in the dark. Narrator, and when the fight begins, it's not just for oil. It's for survival. The camera sweeps across endless oil fields once more, dozens of rigs pumping at once, their rhythm like an army marching. The screen glows in fiery red as if the land itself is bleeding. The music reaches a peak, pounding drums, roaring. Thunder and metallic screeches colliding together, on-screen text, bold, powerful. Landman Season 2, narrator, final line, cutting through the chaos. The ground shakes again. And this time Texas will burn, fade to black. A single sound remains, the steady beat of a drill striking the earth, echoing like a war drum. Then silence. Asterisk, the sound of silence is broken by the sharp crack of metal striking metal. Sparks fly across the screen. A single oil rig powers up again, its gears screaming, its drill clawing into the ground as if waking from a long, angry sleep. The music builds, low strings vibrating like a warning siren in the distance. Narrator, firm, deliberate. The fight for Texas oil isn't just about money, it's about power. And power never comes without a price. The visuals shift to stark contrasts, black smoke billowing into the sky, men in suits shaking hands with smiles that hide knives behind their backs. The camera pans across their faces, cold, unreadable. The sound of papers rustling, contracts being signed, pens scratching like daggers carving scars into history, quick cuts, rapid-fire imagery, a ranch gate being slammed shut, locked tight with chains. A family photo on a wall, cracked down the middle, a pair of boots stomping through mud, leaving heavy imprints as if marking territory. A gun placed on a table, the click of the safety echoing in silence. Narrator, out here, loyalty is a gamble, trust is a weakness, and every deal comes with blood on its hands. The drums pound harder now, each beat syncing with images of conflict. Two rival crews standing face to face in the dust, their trucks lined up like an army ready for war. A heated argument under neon lights in a smoky bar, a glass shatters against the wall. Police sirens in the distance, lights flashing red and blue against the night sky. A courthouse door slamming shut, the echo vibrating like a gunshot. Narrator, when oil is the prize, friends become enemies, and enemies become executioners. The music shifts, darker, more aggressive. Brass horns blare, underscoring the violence. The visuals turn more chaotic, quick flashes layered one after another, overwhelming the viewer like a storm. Hands exchanging envelopes full of cash under a table. A woman staring out a window, tears glistening in the glow of a burning oil flare. A man collapsing to his knees in the dirt, fists pounding the ground. Flames consuming a wooden cross in a lonely field at night. Narrator, voice deep, almost whispering. The land is rich, but the people are starving. And when desperation meets greed, chaos spills into the streets. The tempo quickens. The drilling sound returns, faster this time, matching the rhythm of a racing heartbeat. Images flash at lightning speed now, a shotgun cocked in the dark, a truck door slamming shut, a rig exploding in a fireball against the night sky, a briefcase snapping closed, hands gripping it tight, a child's toy abandoned in the dust, forgotten in the chaos. Narrator. In Texas, there are no second chances. Every choice writes your fate. Every betrayal seals your grave. The visuals slow down again. The chaos fades into silence. The screen shows a lone oil worker standing on a platform at dawn, silhouetted against the rising sun. His figure looks small against the massive rig behind him, the machine looming like a beast ready to devour him. Narrator, calm, steady, chilling, and when the fight begins again, no one, no family, no empire, will walk away untouched. The drums strike one final heavy beat, the screen turns black. Then, in silence, bold white text fades in slowly, letter by letter. Loyalty is tested. Alliances are broken. Blood will spill. The last line lingers longer than the rest. A faint sound of dripping oil echoes, each drop falling like blood into the dirt. The music stops. The silence is suffocating. Narrator, final line for this section, a whisper that cuts to the bone. The ground remembers every drop. Fade to black. The silence remains heavy before section 3 begins. Asterisk, the sound of wind whistling across the barren Texas plains fades in. A hawk screeches overhead, circling against the blistering sun. The camera drops low, boots crunching. Into dry dirt, slow, deliberate steps. Each step echoes with weight, like judgment coming closer. The score begins again, soft strings, trembling with unease. Narrator, measured, grave. In the fight for Texas oil, the ground is not the only battlefield. The war lives inside the people. In their hearts, in their families, in their blood. Visuals move into close-ups, faceless. Shadowed figures seen only in fragments, a hand trembling as it grips a whiskey glass. Eyes staring through blinds, watching, waiting. A woman's necklace being torn away in anger. A man's clenched jaw, teeth grinding with rage he can't contain. The camera cuts to a long dining table. Plates of food sit untouched. A family gathers, but no one speaks. The silence is louder than any words. One chair sits empty, its absence heavier than any presence. The flicker of candlelight reveals fractured bonds. A knife scratches against porcelain. The tension is unbearable. Narrator. Families once bound together, now split by greed. Brothers turned against brothers, fathers betrayed by sons. The music grows heavier, low piano keys striking like heavy blows. Quick cuts flash across the screen, each faster than the last. A contract signed behind closed doors. A woman slamming a door shut in tears. A man pulling off his wedding ring, throwing it onto the floor. A hand reaching for a gun tucked beneath a jacket. Narrator. Every alliance is fragile. Every friendship hides suspicion, and every love comes with a cost. The score shifts, more urgent now, layered with drums. Faces appear only in fragments, never fully revealed, always shrouded in shadow or half-light, giving the sense that no one is truly honest, no one fully seen. The visuals accelerate, a cowboy hat tossed onto a coffin. A woman screaming in silence, her voice muted as flames consume the screen. A man standing at the edge of a cliff, oil fields stretching endlessly behind him. A cross raised in a cemetery, rain pouring down, narrator hushed. Cutting like a blade. In Texas, trust is the most dangerous weapon of all. The music builds again, brass horns blaring with force. The visuals become violent, chaotic. Fists slamming into a face in a dark alley. A glass of wine spilled across a white tablecloth, blood-like in color. A judge's gavel pounding down with fury. A woman loading a shotgun with shaking hands. Two trucks speeding toward each other in the dead of night, headlights colliding. Like charging bulls, narrator, every secret has its shadow. And when shadows grow too long, they consume everything in their path. Suddenly, silence. The screen shows a single image, a child's drawing taped to a refrigerator. Crayons mark a family standing together under the sun. The camera lingers. Then the paper burns away, flames devouring it piece by piece until only ashes remain. Narrator, soft, almost broken. What begins as hope ends in fire. The score returns, sharp violins cutting through silence like blades. Quick flashes strike again, a man's hand covered in blood, a Bible snapping shut. A deal struck in whispers across a dim bar table. A ranch fence broken. Down, splinters flying. A woman standing alone in the rain, face unseen, narrator, rising, strong. In this land, power doesn't come from what you own. It comes from what you're willing to sacrifice. The montage reaches its height, chaos and tragedy colliding in flashes so fast they blur into one another. The music peaks, horns screaming, drums pounding like war. Then, suddenly, silence, the screen fades to black. In the darkness, words appear slowly, one line at a time, glowing like embers. In Texas, the oil runs deep, but betrayal runs deeper. The sound of a match being struck fills the silence. The flame bursts to life, bright and violent before the screen. Cuts to black once again. Asterisk, the silence breaks with a roar. An explosion rips across the screen. Flames consume the night sky, black smoke twisting upward like a monster waking from the earth. The sound of drilling machines pounds like war drums, faster and louder, blending with the roar of fire. The chaos begins. Narrator, low, booming, unstoppable. When the fight for oil begins again. There are no rules, no mercy, no turning back. Rapid montage, each image faster, sharper, more violent than the last. A truck flipping in slow motion, glass shattering in all directions. A man sprinting through the desert, chased by headlights. An oil barrel bursting open, black liquid spraying like blood. A ranch engulfed in flames, collapsing into ash. A woman screaming into the storm, rain drenching her face. The music surges. Horns blaring, drums pounding like 1,000 hooves on dry Texas soil. The camera cuts between scenes at lightning speed, overwhelming the senses. Narrator, every choice will demand sacrifice. Every step forward will carve scars into the land. Close-up imagery slams onto the screen, a contract torn in half. A hand gripping a revolver tighter and tighter. Two men colliding in a brutal fistfight under flashing neon lights. A sheriff's badge falling into the mud. A Bible lying open, pages soaked in rain and oil. Narrator, voice rising. In Texas, the ground itself rebels. It devours the greedy, it punishes the weak, and it remembers the guilty. The visuals blur together now. Fire, fists, storms, machines, faces twisted in rage. The sound design crescendos into chaos. Thunder, gunfire, metal clanging, screaming. Winds. The screen becomes almost unbearable to watch, intensity climbing higher until sudden silence. The screen shows one single image, an oil rig at night. Its silhouette glows red against the horizon. For a long moment, nothing moves. Then, the drill begins to spin again, groaning, screeching, tearing into the earth as though ripping open the heart of Texas itself. Narrator, calm, steady, cutting through the silence. The fight for Texas oil resumes. The score returns. Even more powerful, a full orchestra now, pounding with force. The montage accelerates into its final storm, a gavel slamming down. A deal sealed with a bloodied handshake. A truck racing across the desert with fire in the rearview mirror. A woman collapsing to her knees, staring into the flames. A man raising a rifle under the blazing sun, narrator, and this time, there will be no winners, only survivors. The music hits its peak, one final, unstoppable crescendo. The visuals collide in a rapid blur, almost too fast to follow. Then, just as quickly, everything cuts to black. Silence swallows the screen. On-screen text appears. Glowing in bold white letters, each word punching through the silence. Landman Season 2, The Fight for Texas Oil Resumes. November 16, only on Paramount Plus, the Paramount Plus logo blazes across the screen. In the background, the faint sound of a drill continues, slow, steady, relentless, like a heartbeat that refuses to die. Narrator, final whisper, haunting and unforgettable. Texas never forgets. Fade to black. End.